Thank you so much, Seamus. I think this was an amazing conversation, really connecting things that we're seeing in the GFCC network around the globe and what's being done here on the ground. It's a pleasure to meet Dimitris and Thanasis. We were in contact through email before coming here. And I just want to remind everybody, and also comment with you, Nikos, we're taking the whole group to the Tech Park tomorrow. So we'll continue this conversation with another workshop tomorrow that will be more focused on university, industry, government, society collaboration. And we see many prospects to not just continue the conversation, but as some of the colleagues here have mentioned, to deepen the ties and maybe also exploring the potential for partnerships across the globe, yeah, to leveraging our network. So Seamus, thank you so much. And Simeon for creating the opportunity for the whole group to come here. And I really want to turn to Deborah for her remarks and for us to finish this amazing session.
Thank you. Well, let me thank our moderators and presenters. It was fantastic. And not only have we all learned a lot about what's going on in different regions and parts of the world, but we heard what's happening here in the most innovative way of new industries being created, entrepreneurship, people coming back from having lived abroad, and how this network's beginning to form. But one thing I wanted to add to the conversation, and Paul, you really inspired me, having just been in Belfast a few weeks ago, and remembering that Belfast was a huge, huge global center of the most advanced shipbuilding and design in the entire world at the time. And I'm also thinking of the history, Mr. Mayor and Mr. Governor, of this Epirus in this region. Great metalworking, great silversmith, we heard about that, great textiles. And I am concerned that when we talk about our innovation future, there's too much focus only on the software. We're in a digital world, but we still have to make things. And if you combine this capability you have in IT and software and the digital bank, think about how you can actually, and maybe it's going on, spur some advanced manufacturing here, because that is really where so much value will still be created. And we call that in many parts of the world smart manufacturing, and Paul, you outlined what's going on. But another example, when I was coming here and thinking about the silver work and the metal history, and we're going to see some of that, is think of Sheffield in England. The tradition of metalworking in Sheffield goes back to about the 11th century AD. And Sheffield now has totally built on this strength. They have the most advanced Rolls-Royce, GE advanced manufacturing for the aerospace, but they've taken that history of metallurgy and materials and built on that to be a big, big player today in advanced materials and how they get deployed, self-healing, sustainable, all of that. So that's the only thing I would add to this incredible conversation, is to think about how we need to knit together the software, the digital, but also the advanced smart manufacturing in a sustainable way. And that's another, not just for Epirus, but for Greece as a whole, because when I lived here many years ago, Greece had industries that made things. And you can't really innovate at some of these frontiers if you lose that connection. But Mr. Mayor, thank you for your hospitality, Mr. Governor, and all of our great speakers. Maria, it was great to hear about, in reality, what the bank's doing, and all of our presenters. And we look forward to tomorrow. It's going to be a very exciting day. And again, thank you very much for receiving us in this beautiful city hall with a lot of history. Thank you.
I would like to express my appreciation to the speakers and panelists for their valuable contribution to our workshop. I think it was an extraordinary meeting, very fruitful and very dense. We look forward for continuing the dialogue on innovation and partnerships to support the development of solutions and transformation change. Many thanks to all of you again. It was a pleasure to attend this meeting, and I hope that we will meet again in another innovation talk not too far in the future. Thank you so much for your presence here, and I hope the best to everything, to everyone.
Mr. Mayor, I don't want to have the last word, but perhaps we can continue this conversation in Delphi sometime in late April, actually with the great support of GFCC, who are always present in Delphi since the first day of the establishment. May I suggest, may I make a plea that we continue this discussion about Epirus, which is so great region, so that we see how we can follow up with all these excellent discussions that we have had this evening. Thank you.
I'm asking if it's possible to have a group picture, but I'll leave it up to the experts.
Mr. Governor, perhaps you would like to say a few words to close?
Εγώ θέλω να ευχαριστήσω για όσα χρήσιμα ακούσαμε σήμερα.
We would like to thank you for all these useful and interesting things that we heard today.
Ακούσαμε για προσπάθειες που γίνονται σε όλα τα σημεία και βλέπετε ότι παντού υπάρχει το ίδιο πρόβλημα που ακούστηκε από την αρχή της συνεργασίας του Πανεπιστημίου με τον ιδιωτικό τομέα.
We can see that there is always the cooperation between the private sector and the university, and the liaison between them. It's one global problem and issue, and we should focus on this.
Όπου αυτό θα το καταφέρουμε και με τη συνεργασία θα μπορέσουμε να αλλάξουμε τον τόπο.
And we strongly believe that we are going to make it in the context of cooperation, and our vision is to change and to improve the region and to contribute to the well-being.
Σας ευχαριστώ όλους και όπως είπα και στην αρχή είναι μεγάλη τιμή για μας. Συνεχίζουμε αύριο στο Τεχνολογικό Πάρκο.
Thank you once again, and as I said, it's a great honor to have you here and to host you. Thank you.